Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Pisces. The sun is now in Cancer, and Cancer is bringing awareness, an awareness where you are recognizing the light, that the sun is the light, and slowly we're going through the awareness, through the innocence, into a new state of consciousness. And this is what the sun brings when it's in Cancer, because the sun is giving the light to the moon, which is in your sign. And so the moon is in the moon. And here we recognize our past lives. We recognize that we evolve. And we recognize that we want to clear things, maybe even out of past lives. And so this is the story today. We're going to look, of course, into Neptune, because Neptune is ruling you. And that's here the new vision, focusing on the new vision. And Neptune is your dreams and your hopes, right? So Neptune is in Aries right now, so we're not dreaming about it anymore. We're actually taking action. And we're going to look at Uranus. Uranus is the new beginning, is the revolution, is change, and he's letting himself fall into that change. And Uranus is in Gemini, so we're going to look at that. Then we're going to look at the Knight of Cups, and I divided the dates. We have the Knight of Cups with the star above, and that's between the 8th to the 19th of February. Is your birthday there? Then you are this combination. And I did this reading, this combination, in Aquarius reading. So you better look there for this court card combination. Then we have the classical combination, which is here the moon, and below the Knight of Cups. This is Pisces, right? This is the classical Pisces between the 20th of February and the 11th of March. And then there's another combination to Aries, and that's above the moon and below the Queen of Wands, and that's between the 12th to the 20th of March. And so in this combination we recognize that there are so many different types of Pisces, right? Just because of this combination we can recognize the multiverse here. Good, back to the last reading where we had Gemini Sun giving Pisces Moon the light. We also had the station Jupiter in Cancer, which is staying 1 year, and Saturn in Aries, which is staying for 3 years. The Knight of Cups, think one thought only. And the Queen of Wands, delegate your money wise. So here you see the pictures from the last reading, and I looked and there is not a reoccurring card coming back that is wanting to talk again. That means we can begin the reading. Now, before we begin the reading, I want to tell you that I am taking a break after this reading. I just wanted to do the Uranus connection, that Uranus is now in Gemini, the Fool, and I'm going to finish that, and after that I'm going to take a break, and then I don't know if I'm going to continue this channel. I have to see, and of course I will let you know. Good. So we begin with the 12th house of spirituality, because this is where Pisces is connected with. He is getting the Master, and the Master has come up once in the last years that I'm using Osho, and it means you are ready to jump into mastery. Mastery is something that we only recognize in a spiritual master. Mastery is also happening in your work, in the way you recognize the life around you. And so there's no number attached to this card. And in a way, it's coming after the World. So in a way, it's the 22. So in a way, this is Uranus. Uranus is saying, come into mastery. But the 0 is, of course, also the 22nd major arcana. So in a way, this is the 23rd major arcana, and that's the 5, because the 23, right, is then his card, and that's the 5. So recognize the 5 is the human being that is jumping here into the trust. The 12 turns into a 3, and we understand that the 3 is the Empress. What is coming from the Mother Peace Tarot? We get the Shaman of Wands to the left, and that's Leo. Now Leo is then in the next reading Sun in Leo, and we see that Leo is literally saying, well, you are jumping into the fun, into the creativity of life, because the 12 and the 5th zodiac sign creates the 17, and that's the star, and the Sun is a dwarf star, right? And we understand through the star, through the 17, that the 8 appears, and the 8 is then the infinite. So here you are jumping into something that you're gonna create a certain happiness, a certain creativity, a certain shamanic endeavor of you understanding what a king is all about, because you are a knight. Now, of course, I want to see what is the King of Wands saying, and he is bringing the Queen of Earth, and that's Capricorn. So Capricorn is, of course, that moment where we, in the work realm, understand that we want to climb the ladder, maybe in a fun way, maybe in a I'm jumping just into this fluffy pink cloud, and the 17 is the 8, and she's the 10th zodiac sign, so the 10 and the 8 is then the 18, and that's the moon is talking. And the moon is bringing you this beautiful, go deeper into your subconscious, jump and be creative, and see that you can, in your work, release things that just doesn't make sense anymore. And of course I want to see what is Capricorn saying, and the Sun is coming up, and the Sun is ruling here Leo, right? And the Sun is now in Cancer, bringing healing. I'm just going to take these 3 together, and you see that she's looking at the Sun. The Queen of Earth is looking into the Sun, and so the 18 that we had here turns into the 9. And then, interesting enough, the 19 is the 10 and the 9 is the 19 again, and the 10 is left. So a new cycle is beginning to dawn on you, because you also got here the Master. I'm not going to use his number, the 5, because he's above the 5, right? And so understand that the Master is coming. The Master is coming and saying, well, you have here 2 people, a Leo and a Capricorn, and you have the Sun that is saying, well, the Sun is ruling Leo, and this is where the Sun is the lowest, right? And it's kind of interesting, because we recognize a little bit this life is intense, because the 10 and the 5 is the 15, and that's again the devil in its disguise as I want in my career to climb to a level that makes me independent but also dependent. And so understand that this is important for you to recognize that the Sun is always this moment of self-expression, but also a moment of I want to be the light, I want to be a certain energy that is radiating out, and you are just doing that by becoming the Master. Then the Queen of Wands, she is getting the Moon, and the Moon, of course, the 18 plus the 1 is then also a 19. So in a way, the 19, right, has come to the Knight of Cups and to the Queen of Wands. And so the 10 is left here. What is coming from the Mother Peace Tarot? The 7 of Wands. which is Mars in Leo to the right. And the Seven of Wands is literally like pointing to the moon. Take your time and do research in your subconscious, because the 18 plus the 7 is the 25. That's the 7, and the 7 is Cancer, right? And so learn to open yourself up to the mystery, to your subconscious. And the 7 plus the 1 is then the 8. The 8 is that infinite search that we have realized is happening all the time. And so have a deeper look. Really have the courage to look deep within. What is there that I want to let go? What is it that I need to show to the rest of the priestesses that you are the leader of them, right? It's important that we show that to the people around us. Then comes Uranus. Uranus is bringing you the Four of Wands, and that's Venus in Aries. And sometimes it's a marriage, but for me it's more like I am finding a celebration within myself through Uranus that is now in Gemini, and Gemini brought the Nine of Wands. So the wands here are speaking strongly, because 9 and 4 is 13. That's a transformation that Uranus is pushing on both, on the Knight of Cups and on the Queen of Wands. The transformation that we go through by taking action, by doing things, by recognizing when I take action, then the 4 is left, because the 13 turns into the 4. In this transformation, when we let ourselves fall into the unknown, you know it's the right thing to do. You know that then you realize something, and the 4 is left. The 4, the stability in taking action, in doing the right thing. And you see 2 and 2 crossing each other, right? That's the duality in the duality that is talking here. And so your moon in Sagittarius, right? This is Venus in Aries. Now for the Queen of Wands, it means we have 7 and 4, that's then of course 11. 11 and 9, that's 20 wands. 20 wands is the last judgment. That's Pluto in Aquarius. So maybe you want to look at that as well. Then comes Neptune. Neptune rules your dreams, and the athlete has come up. And he focuses always on the light attribute. Here we have the dark side of the athlete. And the dark side means misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends, false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. The light attribute is dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. So it's always important, why are you doing the sport that you're doing? Is it because you are wanting to show off? Is it because you are hiding behind this athletic endeavor, right? Because sometimes these enormous muscles are like almost in the way, right? Because it's like people cannot move really, unless it's something that you do because you do it out of a beauty right way, right? But being in a gym and just doing the physical bulking of your muscles is just like not so, yeah. But there is of course also an adrenaline push in there, and there is an attachment there that we sometimes have to look at. So the 12 turns into the 3. Then I want to see what is coming from Aries, because Neptune is in Aries, and Aries is bringing you the Queen of Cups, and she is Cancer, and Cancer is bringing the light through the sun, right? And so you see that here's the 4 and the 3 is the 7. The 7 is then the awareness that is coming now to you, to awaken to a new you. And of course I want to see what is the Queen of Cups saying, and the Queen of Cups is coming again. So it's like a 4-4 portal, and here the 3, right? And you understand that awareness is what we need, is awareness is what helps us to overcome certain attachments, of emotions, of feelings that are maybe underlying here the athletic situation here, right? So there's a 44 and the 3, we just leave it there because these cards don't have numbers. So observe why you're doing the sport that you're doing, what is it behind it, and is it really healing? Because you got the Queen of Cups twice. Is it really healing? Is it really good for you? The moon is bringing you the benefactor, the grace and generosity, and the number 3. So the 18 and the 3 is 21. That's the world. That's Saturn. And Saturn is always, for me, that moment where we awaken to a bigger picture. And this bigger picture is, say, be benevolent. Be someone that has grace and generosity and is here in this relationship and enjoys it, right? Then the 3 is left. So the 3 is here. What is coming from your deck existence? The Magician, Mercury. And Mercury, I think, is still in Cancer. So you see that the 3 and the 1 is a 4. And then the 18 plus the 4 is the 22. And the 22, that's here the Fool. That's Uranus. That is saying, well, here is a 4, right? The 4 of Wands. And here is the 4th zodiac sign. And again, the 4th zodiac sign. And so you understand, okay, the 4 is letting me know something important, that this is something I have wished, I have created, this grace and generosity state of consciousness. And you are simply sitting here and seeing how the star is falling down from the sky, and she's sitting on the lotus flower. Now what is, of course, Mercury bringing is bringing the moon cycle, right? And so the moon is bringing you the moon, but the moon has come up for the Queen of Wands as well. So the moon is talking here to her and say, observe the moon phases because they're important. They make us realize that everything is at one point full and at one point completely empty. And it's not easy for people to understand that. So we have the 22 here, the 3 and the 7 is the 10. The 22nd of October could be a date, right? But you realize simply that the moon is a phase, is actually affecting us emotionally, right? And that's why the Queen of Cups has come, because she's connected with the moon. It's a feeling, it's a sense of sometimes feeling sad out of nothing, which I feel too, right? And then all of a sudden, certain days, I'm like, wow, what an energy burst I feel right now. And it's because the moon is in a sign that gives me energy. And sometimes the moon is in a sign that makes me feel a little more sad or a little more, you know, observant. And so the moon phases are something that have helped me through these readings to really understand that the way I feel is not always who I am. And so this is what the moon is letting you know. Be gracious, be here. This beautiful energy, right? And these two mice are here in the Amnamida Muscaria, right? And the generosity is through the earth, right? The food that the earth produces given. And so the 4, and here the 37, the 10 and the 4 is the 14, the temperance, and then the 5 is left. And the 5 plus the 9 from the 18 is the 14, the 5 is left. So come into your center, understand how important it is that you are finding a deeper love for all that is out there. And then comes the sun, the innocence. And we get the depth, the lake, the number 31. And the 31 turns also in a 4 when we calculate together, right? And so we have quite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the 4. And you understand, diving deep into a lake, right? The sun, the 19 is the 10, and the 4, the 14 is here again, temperance. sometimes we need to go deep when the sun is coming and we feel that it's energizing us. Sometimes we need to cool off, and so we go into the lake. What is coming from Cancer? The moon is coming again. And so the moon is speaking in this reading strongly. The moon has come up under the Queen of Wands. The moon phases has come up under the moon. Observe the moon phases. It's important, right? Through the Magician. And now even Cancer is saying, yes, the moon phases, look at them. They are important. And through the moon phases, we understand our behavior. We understand how we sometimes can just be innocent. Sometimes we need to cool off, and sometimes we just don't understand really what's going on. So the 18 turns into a 9, the 9 and the 4 is the 13, and the 13 is the transformation, and the 4 is left, right? Then here the 10 from the 19 calculated together, and the 4 is the 14, the 5 is left. So you understand the humanness, the 5 that somehow I didn't want to give to the master, but the 5, that's the enlightened human being. That's the pentagram, that's the star, that's the master that is coming here and saying, you are awakening to something that you can celebrate, that you can now have like a ritual with the 4 of Wands, right? But also you had 9 Wands, and the Queen of Wands had 7 Wands. It's that courage by doing, by taking action. Thinking about things or dreaming about things is one thing, but then doing it and showing yourself to the world in what you're doing and how you're doing it, there comes the self-worth, and there comes also then the courage that lies within it, and the money that we can make, or the career that we can make, is by taking action. And in that action we then come into an existence, into an understanding that I am part of existence, and that I am part of watching how everything is changing and shifting and turning and diving deeper into the consciousness that we are. Beautiful reading. I think it's a sign, right, that the master has come up also for me. Go deeper within to see what you want to do with this channel. And so I, of course, thank you very, very much for being with me. Namaste.